Welcome, everybody, to today's show. A boomer and Gen Xer walk into a bar, coming to you from our Rabbit Run studio on the road once again. Today, you as a listener will experience some wit and wisdom, some smartassery, and a mother and daughter questioning, are we even related? My name is Bobby Joy, and my co-host is my mom, Jane, and we are here to entertain for as long as you'll have us.
Because some people may be tuning out already. I hope
I
not.
know, right?
I will say we've been getting some really good feedback back from people, and we really appreciate y'all following us and liking us. And if you would, please share our podcast information with your friends. We're on Facebook, and you can contact us through Gmail. And we really appreciate it. So
Yeah, and you can even leave comments on Spotify. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can reach out to us.
a lot of different ways. And what we really love to hear is what topics you would like to hear us talk about.
Yes.
That's always interesting, and we're up for a challenge all the time. So whatever you want to throw our way, that's what we'll accept.
So today, before we get into our topic today,
I was just getting ready to ask you what our topic was today, Bobby.
Well, I had said to Mom before we started recording, I said, I'm going to give a little fun fact that not a lot of people know, and it'll kind of roll into the topic today. So, you know how you have those things that you kind of think about like every once in a while? For me, it's like daily or a few times a day, and it's just random crap that pops into your head and you don't know where it comes from. Do you ever have those?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Just like I know that I must be ADHD. I have got to be because most of my thoughts come to me at 3:30 in the morning when I'm laying in bed. Did I turn off the stove? Oh my gosh, did we lock the door? What happens if the dogs get loose? I mean, there's just so many different things. Did I wash that shirt today? Oh my gosh, do we have to mow the lawn in the middle of winter? So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that
Well,
I think about at 3:30 in the
my
morning.
Yeah, mine are kind of different. So I'll share with you one of the prevalent ones recently that pops into my head about 3 times a day. And some people are going to hear this and go, oh my God. So, okay, buckle up.
Buckle up.
Okay, so
Okay. Click, click.
did you know that you know what scurvy is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for those who don't know, it's a lack of vitamin C. It was huge, back in the days of sailing,
Yep.
to
They
new
used to
lands
get
and
it
stuff
on the
like that.
ships. Yep.
Right. So did you know that if you have scurvy, if you have a bad enough case of scurvy, that your old scars will reopen?
What?
No way!
What do you
Yeah.
mean your old scars will reopen? You mean like if I
So
cut my arm, that my scars will
all of
reopen?
them,
Even if they've
all
been
of them.
healed?
Yes,
What?
because now listen to this. So vitamin C is it's vital for something called collagen synthesis, which is the primary protein responsible for wound healing and scar tissue formation. Now, old scars, they have to constantly have that in order to stay closed. It's not something that just closes and then oh, it's done, it's healed permanently. It's a constant thing of where it constantly has to have this in order to stay closed. So if you get a bad case of scurvy, I would be like soup because everything would break open. I have like a billion million scars, and
Yeah.
this thought haunts me at least 3 times a day.
Oh my gosh. So you'd be like a zombie walking around with all these open scars, wounds, and
Oh,
everything.
it'd be bad. I would just be a puddle of soup.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard such a thing. Now I have to look that up and find out if that's really true. So I'm not going to do it
Absolutely.
right now, but I'm going to challenge you on this one because I've never heard that before. Now, I do know vitamin C obviously does a lot for the healing. And I take vitamin C because I bruise easily. And since I bruise easily, I have to take vitamin C. So there's that. So I can see how they could be related, but wow, I've never heard of such a thing
Well, and you
before.
wouldn't think about it, today because we have so many food enriched vitamin C sources that it's not even an issue, today. But I mean, I don't know why, but it just pops into my head randomly like two, three times a day. And yeah,
And this bothers you on a regular basis?
it does.
Oh
It
my
does.
goodness. Oh my goodness. So 2 or 3 times a day, you're thinking about scurvy and that you hope that you don't have a vitamin C deficiency, that you're going to burst open and
Yes.
bleed on everybody. Okay. Okay. I think you've been watching way too many shows or something. I don't know. But I am
But
going to
let's
challenge you on
let's
this
roll
and I'm
that
coming
into
back. I'm coming back on that one because I'm going to look that up.
Absolutely, do it. Do your research. But and that rolls into today's topic, which is gonna be stuff you should know, but you probably don't.
Hey, that's a good topic. That's a really good topic because here's why I think that's a really good topic. And I'm glad you brought it up is because I've been watching a lot of these kids not know how to, we've talked about it before. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to write in cursive. They don't know how to read cursive. They
They
can't
don't know where to get a roll of quarters.
They don't know. They didn't know that you could get a roll of quarter.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to let you start it out then. What's one thing that you think everybody should know? And it's probably a common theme thing, but everybody should know
um,
it.
I think that you should know to never mix bleach and ammonia.
Oh, that is a good one because I've done that before.
You'll
It
end
gets
up passed
very
out on the floor.
it gets very toxic. And when because what you're doing is you're stacking chemicals and
Yeah, and it creates a deadly gas.
it does, yeah. And
Yeah.
it isn't just bleach or with ammonia. It's bleach or ammonia with several other types of cleaners because I've used like Comet and bleach before and just
Yeah.
about passed out and
Yep.
did not know that that was, a no-no. So, yeah, that
And for
is a good
legal
one.
purposes, we won't be getting into the mix, but you can also create chloroform from cleaning products.
Hey,
And
sometimes
you
that comes
don't
in
want to
handy.
chloroform yourself. Okay.
So that could come in handy to have some of that in your back pocket. Um, okay, I'm going to throw one out there.
Okay.
Were you aware that the Food and Drug Administration has a handbook on the food defect levels that are acceptable in the United States? And what I mean by that, and we can post the site for this. What I mean by that is the government allows, let's say, so many rodent hairs in
Oh, yes.
pork and
Yep.
beans, or so much larva in peanut butter, or X amount of poop, like rat poop
Right.
in your rice or whatever it is. There's a whole booklet on this that the
I
government
did know
has.
that.
Yeah. And I got to tell
Yeah.
you want some interesting reading. It'll gross you out, but it's so interesting and
But
it's hard to put down.
let's talk about the fact that there's even an acceptable amount of human flesh allowed.
Yes. Yes. Human flesh allowed in certain foods. Now, what? I mean, is that like somebody cut their finger off while they were, I don't know, making elbow macaroni and it fell in there and it was like, well, that doesn't put us over the threshold. Let her go.
Or maybe like they're culling the field and they find a dead body and they don't find it in time and they're like, oh well, we might have run it over with the baler for the hay or something.
That's funny right there. So let me give you another one. And I don't think everybody is aware of this, but when a lot of the vegetables on in corporate farms a lot of the vegetables and fruits and things, when they're picked, they're boxed up and they're put in boxes right away and they're not washed. What comes to mind is I want you to think about how many people crack open a head of lettuce and don't wash it,
Gross.
thinking
Ugh.
that it's clean.
No, I can't do that.
Now, some packaged lettuce will say washed and ready to use. Well,
Right.
I don't trust that either. But yeah, so a lot of that stuff, whatever the toxins are on it, whatever the fertilizers were, whatever the herbicides were, whatever the pesticides were, they're all still on there. And a lot of people don't recognize that or even realize that. So even if you're going to peel those vegetables and fruits, wash them first.
Right.
What else
Right.
what else do you have?
Oh, here's one. So expiration dates, they're not just for your food. They are also on your tires, your car seats for children, and even your makeup.
So I want to talk about that for tires because I was in the energy business and we had a lot of trucks on the road. And we had to determine how old our tires were. It wasn't always just a matter of wear and tear on the highway. It was, do we have a lot of dry rot on these tires? Are these trucks sitting? You know, is the sun damaging them?
Right.
And there is a way to tell what year and what month that tire was made. And I think what's really important for people to know on that is you go to a tire store and they pull them off the rack and it looks like a brand new tire, right? It's got all the labels
Right.
on it, might have even had some wrapping on it, still got the little nubbies on it. But it doesn't mean that that's a brand new tire. That could have been sitting up on the rack, dry rotting for 10 years for all you know, unless
Right.
you check that date. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a good one right there.
Another one here. I got another one.
Okay.
For all you teenage parents out there, the difference between deodorant and antiperspirant. So there is a difference. Okay.
Doesn't one have
They are
mercury and one doesn't?
so they're not interchangeable. So deodorant actually targets the odor, and antiperspirant, it combats the sweating. So you
Yes.
can have both in one stick, but you can't like use deodorant for sweating. That's not what it's for. It's for the smell. The antiperspirant is to stop the sweating. So there
Yeah.
is a difference.
There's a big difference. Yeah, there is a difference. And I think some of them have, you know, like I said, I'm not sure if it's mercury or what it has in it, but I always used deodorant. I did not use antiperspirant. I am BRCA positive, meaning that I am susceptible to cancer, and I've had some surgeries because of that. And so anything that's even remotely close to something that could trigger that, I stay away from. So I've always used a deodorant because it just makes me smell better. That's it. I don't use an antiperspirant ever.
Right. All right. What's
Um,
another one from you?
okay, so another one from me is did you know that oh gosh, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Bottled water. The government doesn't regulate bottled water. Somebody could take their bottles and take them home and fill them in their bathtub and sell them. And the
As
government
bottled water.
as
Yeah.
bottled water because the government does not have a regulation associated with bottled water.
Right.
Now, you know, people are concerned with bottled water because of the plastics associated with, you know, the bottles themselves. And a lot of times those bottles will sit out in the sun or they'll sit in hot warehouses and they could sit for
Right.
a long time. And yeah, so that is one thing that I think people are not aware of is that there are no regulations as it relates to bottled water. I
Right.
remember when I was a kid, somebody somewhere said, "Oh, just wait. At some point, they're going to be making us pay for water, or our air. And I thought, that's silly. Why would we pay for
Now look at
Now
us.
look at us drinking bottled water. And, most of us try to use filtered water out of our own homes now, just to try to reduce the amount of plastics that we're using. But yeah, there's no regulation there.
Nope,
What's
not at
another
all.
one that you have?
Oh, let me think. Um,
Here, I've got another one. So I'm not sure that everybody knows this, it's not applicable to everyone. But if you move out to the country and let's say that you no longer are on a natural gas line, you don't get natural gas from a company, you have to have an LP tank or a propane tank, that your equipment that you brought from the previous house is not going to be applicable for the new house because the orifices have to be drilled out. Did you know that, Bobby?
okay.
Did you
Okay,
know
so
that?
yeah, because it's a different type of gas.
Yeah, one's heavier. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
yeah, so a lot of people think, oh, I've got a problem, I got to buy a new stove or, whatever the situation is, or, you're not going to bring your furnace with you. Typically, it's just your stove, right?
Right.
And when they bring a new stove
Maybe a
with them,
gas dryer.
yeah, maybe a gas dryer, and those things have to be modified before you can actually use them. I think that's a
Huh.
good tidbit of information, even though it's not applicable to everybody.
That is, though. That is, especially for people who are thinking about, the homesteading or the moving out in the country away,
Yeah.
off grid and things
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
That's something that you really have to think about.
And more people
So,
are going off grid, it sounds like. I mean, I see a lot of shows related to it.
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's ultimate goal for me, but so on appliances, and we had talked about this before because I asked you, did you know your washer and your dishwasher have filters that have to be taken out and cleaned?
Well, your washing machine. Let's talk about
Yeah,
that. Because when I built my house, what's it been? 5 years now that I built
somewhere
my
around
house
there.
somewhere around there, and of course I got all new appliances, everything's brand new. And I noticed there was this little opening, this little hatch at the bottom of my washing machine because I've got front load everything.
Right.
And I noticed this little hatch, and my whole thing is hey, if it's not causing a problem,
Yeah, leave it
leave
alone.
it alone. And you called me one day and said, hey, did you know you need to clean that filter in the bottom of your washing machine? And I go, what filter are you talking about? And so I get down there and you warned me. You said, hey, you're going to have to put some pan or something under it because it'll run some water out and it's going to stink and whatever else. And so, yeah, I did that. And yeah, you absolutely have to clean those out. Same way with the dishwasher. Oh,
Yeah.
how gross is that? That's the most
Yeah.
gross thing. You open your dishwasher and you go, why is this thing smelling so bad? Yeah, you got filters in the bottom there, folks. You need to clean those out.
And see, and when I bought my house back in 2018 was the first time that I'd ever had a front load high efficiency washer. And so I ended up getting an error code on it because I go through like 63 million loads of laundry a week. And so I ended up running an error code on it. And I'm like, oh my God, my washer's broke. It's only been, 6 months. And I'm going to have to get a new washer, these dang kids, and whatever. And I called a friend of mine and he goes, no, he goes, check your filter. And I said, excuse me, there's a filter.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. Well, he didn't warn me. That's the funny part. He didn't warn me that when I pulled that filter out, there's going to be like a gallon of water come spilling out onto my floor.
Yeah. See,
But
you
yeah, I
warned
pulled that
me.
thing out and I was like, oh my God, there's a filter in here. I wonder how many people actually know about this.
So, okay, so here's another one. I have mentioned multiple times I worked in the energy business. And for a short time period, I worked for a distribution company, meaning that there's transmission companies and there's distribution companies, right? So the transmission are the big lines that come across country, and they're either high voltage, or if you're, if it's a gas line, it's a high pressure line. And when you get down to the distribution, that's to every house, every, garage, every storefront, that's distribution lines. And a lot of people don't know this, and they think just because I shut my equipment off, it's not drawing electricity. And it is.
Yeah,
I'm
it
here to
absolutely
tell
is.
you, it definitely is. So if you are not using, and I want our viewers to test me on this, because this wasn't something that we told our customers when I worked in the distribution side of the business, right? But you can save up to about 33% on your electric bill if you disconnect everything that's you're not using. So I really want people to test me on this. I want you to think about, what don't I really use on a regular basis? And just walk around the house and unplug these. Like, I unplugged things that were in the guest room. I don't have guests there all the time. I don't need an alarm clock, on all the time when they're not there. I don't need the TV plugged in the entire time when people aren't there. And so, just kind of look around and say, what can I unplug? Because it really and truly does draw on the electricity, and it can save you some money.
Absolutely.
So there's my money saving tip. I'm usually not a very good money saver. So there's my tip. Let's go for one more good one, Bobby, because I think we're running out of time here.
Oh gosh. A good one. Here's a simple one that a lot of people don't know, and a lot of young folk don't know. That little arrow on your gas tank icon that, you look down and you see how full your tank is, and there's that little arrow. That's what side your gas tank is on when you go to get out to fill your gas tank.
That's right. A lot of people don't know that. That's right.
No.
Absolutely. I think that's a good one. Also, there was something else. Oh, your idiot light. When your engine light comes on, there's a little engine that comes on your dash, and it says, I'm not feeling well. You might want to check me out. And so when that engine light comes on, you really kind of want to take care of your vehicle before that engine light comes on. But let's say it comes on. If it's steady light, it means it's not something critical. If it's flashing, it means you need to get the car in right away, or the vehicle in right away. Did you know that?
I did not know that, because anytime mine comes on, I go hook it up to a reader and find out what it is.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And you can, and we have readers too. And so you can read what the error code is. And some of it is just, something that the factory or the manufacturer put in there that, they want you to go change a filter out that really doesn't make any difference to your vehicle, but a light comes on because of it. But yeah, if
Sometimes it's just because you left your gas cap off.
that is true. Or you didn't let it click 4 times before you shut it off, or before you put the nozzle back. Well, I think that's probably all we have for right now. Do you have any others, Bobby? I mean, this was kind of a fun little...
Yeah, I would say I do have a critical one. So listen, if you're ever in a scenario where you've been stabbed or impaled by an object, don't remove it. Okay. I know if you ever get, you're out working, and let's say a piece of a tree branch goes through your arm. First thing you're going to want to try to do is pull that sucker out. Don't do it.
Yeah. Because it
Don't
could
do
be
it.
very close to an artery, right? Could be very
Yes,
close
and it's
to...
the only thing stopping that blood flow.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's an excellent point. Well, I think that's probably all we have for today. We really appreciate y'all joining us for this short little review of what people should know. And so we appreciate you being with us here in Rabbit Run. We're not at the Rabbit Hole studio because we're still on the road. So on the road. So be sure to follow us, and we look forward to spending time with you every week. Please like us, and if you have some positive feedback or a topic that you want us to talk about, please don't hesitate to drop us an email at boomerandgenxer@gmail.com. If you have hate mail, we're not interested in hate mail. We'll take criticism. We've been taking some criticism from people, and that's cool. Just be polite, be nice. It doesn't cost anything to be nice to people. But we'll be here, and until next week, I'm Jane Burt.
And I'm Bobby Joy.
And you're stuck with us. Peace out.
Later.